So what comes to mind when you think of South Carolina? For a lot of people, it's probably those historic streets in Charleston, or maybe the sunny beaches of Myrtle Beach. But what if I told you that behind those picture-perfect images is an economic engine so massive it literally defines the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of people? Let's break down the huge numbers behind South Carolina's biggest industry.
All right, to really get a handle on just how significant tourism is to the Palmetto State, you pretty much only need to remember one single number.
$30 billion. According to a recent state report, that's the annual economic impact of tourism in South Carolina. I mean, it's just a staggering number, right? It's almost hard to wrap your head around what that even looks like.
But a number that big can feel a little abstract, can it? So let's translate it from dollars into something way more tangible. Jobs. How does this $30 billion wave actually ripple through the state's workforce?
Well, the human side of that number is even more striking. Get this, for every 10 jobs in South Carolina, one of them is in the hospitality industry. Just think about that for a second. Your tour guide, the chef at your favorite restaurant, the person at the front desk of your hotel, they're all part of this massive ecosystem.
To put it another way, we're talking about over 200,000 people. That's an entire workforce whose paychecks depend on visitors showing up. It's not just part of the state's economy, it's a fundamental pillar.
So, where does this powerful economic engine get its fuel? Well, it all starts with the land itself. This state's just incredible geographic diversity.
South Carolina's appeal really begins right here in the northwest corner of the state with these absolutely stunning Blue Ridge Mountains. This isn't the coastal plain that a lot of people picture, right? This is a region full of waterfalls, hiking trails, and just breathtaking views that really sets the stage for the state's diverse landscape.
And as you move down from those mountains, the landscape just unfolds into these vast forests that cover, get this, more than 2/3 of the state. And these forests, rivers, and lakes, they aren't just pretty scenery. They're a huge draw for all kinds of outdoor fun, from fishing and hunting to kayaking and camping.
And that's really the key thing to understand. These natural resources aren't just some nice backdrop for a vacation photo. They are literally woven into the very fabric of South Carolina's history and its culture. From the very first industries to today's massive visitor economy, the land has always been the foundation.
And while that natural beauty is spread all across the state, there are two specific coastal areas that have absolutely mastered how to harness it into an economic powerhouse. So let's take a look at where the lion's share of that $30 billion actually comes from.
And wow, when you look at the numbers, you can really see the sheer dominance of these two coastal giants. Charleston and Myrtle Beach, together they account for over $27 billion in economic impact. They are, without a doubt, the twin engines driving the state's entire tourism industry.
And Charleston isn't just doing well, it's thriving in some pretty remarkable ways. In fact, Explore Charleston pointed out that even when national trends showed a bit of a downturn, Charleston's hotel demand actually went up. That just shows you its incredible resilience and its power as a truly top-tier destination.
But, and this is a really important but, while the coast is undeniably king, to really get the full story of South Carolina's success, you have to turn away from the ocean and venture inland.
And that's the key question, isn't it? If over 90% of the economic impact is coming from the coast, is there really anything else to talk about? Well, the answer is a resounding yes, and it points directly to where the state's future growth is coming from.
So check this out. This data comes from the South Carolina National Heritage Corridor, which is this designated region connecting all these historic and cultural sites from the mountains all the way to the sea. And just look at the top tours: peaches, politics, and pottery, Native Americans, and nuclear energy. This tells you something really interesting, right? It shows there's this growing hunger among travelers for more authentic, unique experiences, stuff that goes way beyond the typical beach vacation.
And what's really fascinating here is that over 85% of these trips are day trips. This points to a totally different style of tourism, much more localized and exploratory. You've got people driving to these smaller towns to learn something, to taste something, to really experience the state's deep history, not just to crash at a resort for a week.
And if you want proof of major inland growth, you don't have to look any further than Greenville. Its tourism impact has surged an incredible 35% since 2019. Now, this isn't just spillover from the coast. This is growth driven by its own unique identity,
We're talking a nationally recognized food scene that's drawing in foodies, major conventions filling up hotels midweek, and huge sporting events like the NCAA basketball tournament bringing in fans from all over the place.
Okay, so let's tie all these different threads together. We've got the super powerful coast, we've got this growing cultural tourism inland, and we've got the booming upstate. So what does it all mean when you put it together?
Really, the key takeaway here is one word: diversification. South Carolina's strength isn't just in one thing. It's like a complete investment portfolio. The coast is the solid, reliable anchor, for sure, but the growing appeal of its history, its culture, and these inland cities like Greenville, that's what makes the entire state a more resilient, year-round destination. And the foundation for every single bit of it, it all goes back to those incredible natural resources we talked about at the start.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The state has built this $30 billion industry by layering history, food, and sports right on top of its natural beauty. So, as it keeps diversifying that appeal, the big question is, what part of this amazing, unique portfolio is going to drive the next $30 billion?